Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 97 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit, and where I get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. Today is Saturday, February 5th, 2022, and we have a gorgeous, sunny, bright blue sky kind of day here, but it's cold. It's in the low 20s. And it's cold. I'm getting spoiled and I'm getting soft living down farther south than where I grew up. But that's life. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out. I hope you enjoy it here. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another week to see what I've been up to and see what I've accomplished. I'm so happy to have everyone here watching me and listening to me and joining me for probably a little less than a half an hour of me nattering on about what I've been knitting for the past week and other stuff. So today I'm drinking a cup of tea. It's getting colder already. I've been nursing it for a little while. This is one of my David's tea packets. This is Forever Nuts. I love this one. It's apple, almonds, cinnamon, beetroot, artificial flavoring, and it has almonds in it. It's really nice. I like the flavor of this one. It's a really mild flavor. And I kind of hoard the David's tea bags, so I don't have a lot of them, and I can't easily get them. So I typically find them when I'm back in Canada visiting, and it's been over 2 years since I've been able to be back home to visit. So I'm hoarding what I have left of my David's tea stash. But I felt like a cup of the Forever Nuts tea today, so I'm enjoying that. So what have I been up to this past week? If you remember last week when I was here, I had a goal. I was going to try to see if I could be 4-4-4. If I could have a finished object to show you 4 consecutive episodes in a row. Spoiler alert, didn't make it. So close, and yet so far. I tried. It will be, my Shawlography will be a finished object when I see you next week, unless something completely unexpected and crazy happens. It shall be a finished object next week. So this is a pattern by Stephen West that I started back in October. When it first came out, it came out as a mystery knit along, where a new clue was added to the pattern every week over the course of 4 weeks. And when the first clue came out, I knew right from the get-go I was going to be behind. The pattern came out 2 days after I had surgery on my index finger on my left hand, and I was behind the whole way through. So many people finished this back in October, November. Here it is February, and I'm still plugging along. But when I saw you last week, I was getting ready to start the border. I had finished this crisscrossy section and I was ready to start the border, and I didn't quite make it. Here's what I have so far on the border. I did a lot, but this border is gigantic, and I'm getting tangled up in my yarn. So it's like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going. Oh my gosh. There we go. So when it's done, there will be 53 of these little angled strips. I have finished 42 of them. So close to being done. But each one of these little pieces they grow out of one of the crisscrosses. So you can see in here, this one is coming out of here. Then the next one comes out of the next crisscross, and so on. So I have 11 crisscrosses left to complete. So I have 11 of them left to go, plus a little extra something at the very end. But so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm on the 11th from the end. So close. That's what was left to do. And I worked on this a lot this past week. I did a little calculation, and each of these little diagonal bars, each of those have 462 stitches on it, each one of these. And so there are 53 of them altogether. The first two and the last one have some variation just as the finishing off point. But when all is said and done, and all of this is completely done, this border will have more than 24,000 stitches. That's a boatload of stitches, oh my goodness. I am tucking in the tails as I go on each one, otherwise I would have 5 zillion extra ends to weave in. So all I will have to do once it's done is I'm just going to have to neaten them up a little bit, just make sure they're secure, trim them down just a little bit. Once the rest of the stitching is done on the border, I still have, oopsie, no, tangled up. I still have some other tails that still need to be tucked in. I haven't done that yet. So there's like a little handful of them here. There's several ends that still need to be woven in. And that's fine. I'll sit down once everything else is, once the rest of the border is finished, I will sit down and tuck in the rest of the tails, neaten up all the edges, and then I will block it, soak it and block it, and then it'll be completely done. And I really am hoping to have that 100% finished to show you guys next week. I had really hoped to have it ready this week. I couldn't get that much knitting done in 1 week. That was an awful lot of stitches. That I had to do. I probably did about 20,000 stitches. That's just a ballpark guess right off the top of my head. But I probably did about 20,000 stitches on that border this past week. So I've done a lot, but I still have a lot left to do, relatively speaking. So it should be done in the next, I'm hoping the knitting portion will be finished in the next couple days. I really hope to have all the knitting done before the end of the day on Sunday, so that on Monday I can lay out my blocking mats and get it all done up, get it all pinned out, and it'll be nice and dry and ready to show off next week. So that's the only knitting I have done this week. I have not touched my cable trellis. It's still sitting here waiting patiently for its turn to see some love. As soon as Shawlography is done, I will move on to cable trellis and get that done. And then once that one's done, then I will cast on something new. So, Shawlography, almost done. So again, that's a pattern by Stephen West. I'm using 3.5mm needles for that, or US 4. and I'm using whole super soft. So I'm using 5 different colors. The pink is geranium, the tan is lather, and then I have the 3 purpley color. There's sweet pea, damask, and plum are the lightest through the darkest purpley colors. So far, it's looking like the 3 purples, I'm only going to use the 50-gram skein. The tan and the pink, I've had to get into the second skein, or the second ball of yarn. So those 2 colors I'm going to end up using a little over 50 grams. The 3 purples, I suspect I'll be able to finish that only using 50 grams of each, but we'll see later in a few days once it's done. Traffic's noisy today. So also this past week, I did soak and block my Sunday cardigan as I thought I would do. The fit is a little bit better, but still not quite good enough. It did grow a little bit, but not quite enough to have the very bottom part do up around the bottom of my belly. So the plan now is to either gift it to someone or smarten up with diet and exercise and drop a few pounds so that it fits me. Easier said than done, but we shall see. So that was done this past week, and I also seriously considered casting on a new pair of socks. Sock Madness is starting to get close to being on. The registration opened this past Tuesday on February 1st, so I've registered for Sock Madness, or Sock Madness 16, or Sock Madness 2022. They have released so far 1 warm-up pattern, which I really like. It's a really pretty pattern. It's set up so that you can use, it's a colorwork design, and the pattern is written so that you can use scraps if you want. I am very tempted to start that, but I want to keep up with my commitment to finish my whips before I start anything new. We shall see. They might release more warm-ups. Last year, I believe they released 4 warm-ups during the month of February. So we'll see. I might end up casting on 1 pair of warm-up socks sometime in February, but we'll see. But the key goal right now is to get those 2 shawls finished, and then I can try to decide what I want to cast on next. I have several patterns that are calling to me, that are seriously calling to me. So we shall see. But as it stands right now, it's probably going to be at least a week, potentially 2 weeks before I'm ready to cast on something new. This potentially makes this podcast a little less exciting to watch because I'm just showing you, I've showed you 1 knit project today. But I really do want to get my whips done. And I do want this year to try to be somewhat monogamous. I doubt that I'll be 100% monogamous, especially once Sock Madness starts the beginning of March. But I would like to keep it down to 2 whips. The Sock Madness pattern and something to fall back on when I'm in between competition rounds. So stay tuned and see how that works. In other news, it's not a lot. Work is going well, and I have to go. Remember about almost a year ago, I had gum surgery on the left-hand side. I'm scheduled to have the same surgery I had here, I'm scheduled to have that surgery done on the right-hand side on Tuesday. Initially, I was scheduled to have it done towards the end of September this past year, but where I tested positive for COVID on my pre-op appointment for this finger, I had to reschedule that appointment. The soonest they were able to get me scheduled in to see the periodontist to do the surgery was from September into February. They were booking that far out. So that's scheduled for Tuesday. I'm not excited about having to have that done again, but it is what it is. I need to go and get a bit of grocery shopping done in the next couple days so that I was teasing my husband saying I need to buy all kinds of baby food because I can only eat really soft things for several days to a week after the surgery. So I will be getting some yogurt, applesauce, pudding. I'll also be getting mashed potatoes and a few other things like that. So for the first couple days, it'll probably just be yogurt pudding. I bought a few containers of chicken broth, so I can just pour that into a cup and heat that in the microwave for a couple minutes, and I've got a nice soft meal that I can have. So that'll be my diet for a few days, several days next week. Who knows, maybe that'll be enough that I'll lose a few pounds and be able to fit into my Muppet sweater. That might be the benefit of having this surgery next week. Anyway, so that's what I have, I don't want to say exciting, coming up this week, but that is getting done on Tuesday, late mornings. So I'm hoping to have Shawlography done before that, and then I can get on to working on cable trellis once that's done. They don't give you any kind of major painkillers for that. They just say Tylenol, ibuprofen, that kind of stuff. That's all you get. That's all you take for it. So, and it's not that painful. It's more uncomfortable than painful afterwards. And if it's the same as this side was, I will have some swelling on this side of my face afterwards. I am planning on filming my podcast again next week, so you'll get to see me with like a half a chipmunk cheek probably. But I am hoping to get a goodly bit of knitting done in this week coming up, and hoping to, I'm not gonna say that I want to get cable trellis done by next Saturday, because I don't think I'll be able to get it finished. There's still quite a bit of knitting left to do on that. Relatively speaking, I think I'm only at about 30% done. Maybe 30%, might not even be that much. But otherwise, what's new with you guys? Not much else is new with me. I think I'll probably sign off. This might be one of my shorter episodes. Mark it down. I just didn't have as much to talk about today. So on that, I think I will sign off. I will go and get the editing done on this and get it uploading onto YouTube for you guys. So here's hoping you can see cable trellis complete next week. And I am kind of disappointed that I ruined my track record, or my finishing streak. 3 weeks in a row with the finished object was good. I was really hoping to do 4 for 4, but such is life. Alrighty, I'll quit rambling on here. Take care, and I will see you guys again in a week. Bye.